Hi, welcome back to the Bridlington Driving Range, and today we're just going to briefly talk about the setup. So when people come on, they get the clubs or they bring their own clubs, but particularly for beginners, it's very important that we try and get the basics right, so the fundamentals of the swing, and in this instance it's going to be about how you stand to the ball. So let's go through that. In previous videos we've spoken about the options of which grip we use. So if you haven't seen that one, you can go back to that and have a look. So once we've got our grip, we're now going to talk about how we stand, so how we build ourselves around the ball itself. So here's a very basic guideline. You're going to stand with your feet together, you take your grip, and you're going to stand as tall as possible. And from there, you're going to pivot from your hips until that club touches the ground. So as you can see now, that club obviously is on the inside of the ball, which means that I'm stood too far away from it. It's very easy to cheat as this, because what you can do, you can just go, there we are, which then extends your arms from your body and doesn't quite give you the optimal stance that we're after. So what you have to do is you have to micro adjust. So I know that because I was about maybe 4 inches too far away, I'm just going to just nudge 4 inches closer, go through the process again until the club sits perfectly flush behind the ball. And once I've got that, I'm going to take my stance, which is going to be shoulder width apart. So now, using this mid-iron, the ball position is in the middle of my stance. So after we've got our stance, it's important as a side note to just mention that obviously we want the ball to be near the middle of the club face at the address position. So for those not familiar with that word address, that basically just means the way that you stand to the ball. So in the address position, ball middle of the club, but note here that the toe, which is this part of the club, the end, is not too high or too low to the point where it's squashing my finger. It literally just sits like so. So maybe you could squeeze a 5p piece on that edge of the club. So this is called the toe of the club, and that's called the heel of the club. And that's what we're after when you're addressing the ball. So just to recap what we've done there, after we've got our grip, got our stance, tall as you can, pivot from the top so the club sits flush behind the ball, toes not too high or too low, take your stance, and from here you're just going to add a slight little bit of flexion in the knees. And from there you'll be able to feel the ground so it feels like it's even. A really good thing that I often do is actually in my shoes I'm going to bring my toes up. That's what's creating like a tripod effect. So we've got 2 points of contact, the balls of the foot, and then also 1 point of contact in the heels. And from there that just gives you a very centered feeling when you stood over it. Then you can just release those toes, and then you can feel where the weight is even keel in the feet. And then once you're happy with the setup, you just take the club back,